If you are a pilot in Southeast Michigan, you've probably tuned into Selfridge Air National Guard Base's frequency, talked to their tower when requesting an overflight, or at least you've kept a close eye on the airspace. It's one of the busiest and most active military airfields in the country. But here's something most pilots don't know. Selfridge Air Base isn't named after some random general or politician. It's named after a young Army officer whose story is directly tied to the very beginning of military aviation in America. The man was First Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge. Born in San Francisco in 1882, he graduated from West Point in 1903. That's the same year the Wright brothers made their first successful powered flight at Kitty Hawk. While most officers at the time were focused on traditional military matters, Selfridge became fascinated with the idea of flight. He didn't just watch from the sidelines, he dove in. Selfridge joined the Aerial Experiment Association, a group led by Alexander Graham Bell that was working on early powered aircraft. He helped design and test some of the first successful American airplanes, including the White Wing and the Junebug. In May of 1908, he became the first U.S. military officer to fly a powered aircraft solo. He was also proving himself as one of the Army's leading experts in this brand new field of aviation. That same year, the U.S. Army wanted to see if airplanes could be useful for military work. They reached out to the Wright brothers. Orville Wright brought a Wright Flyer to Fort Myer, Virginia, for official trials. On September 17, 1908, then Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge climbed into a passenger seat next to Orville for a demonstration flight. What happened next would go down in history. During the flight, a propeller broke and struck a bracing wire. The aircraft went out of control and crashed. Orville Wright was seriously injured and barely survived. Thomas Selfridge suffered a fractured skull. He never regained consciousness and passed away later that evening. At just 26 years old, he became the first person in history to pass in a powered airplane crash. Now, here's where Selfridge's story connects to Michigan. By 1917, the United States had entered World War I, and the Army needed places to train pilots and mechanics quickly. A wealthy Detroit industrialist named Henry Joy had already developed a small airfield near Mount Clemens on the shore of Lake St. Clair. It was originally known as Joy Aviation Field. The Army took over the field and turned it into a major training base. They needed a name for it. Rather than naming it after a living general or a politician, they chose to honor the young officer who had given his life while advancing military aviation. In 1917, Joy Aviation Field was officially renamed Selfridge Field. It is one of the oldest continuously operating military airfields in the country. The first official military flight took place there on July 8, 1917, and aircraft have been operating from the same location ever since. During World War II, the base trained thousands of pilots and mechanics. It even hosted training for elements of the Tuskegee Airmen. After the war, it became Selfridge Air Force Base and later transitioned into what it is today. Selfridge is now Selfridge Air National Guard Base and home to Michigan Air National Guard's 127th Wing. It is a joint use installation that hosts units from multiple military branches as well as Customs and Border Protection. Unlike many other bases that have closed over the years, Selfridge has remained active and strategically important for over a century, largely because of its location near the Great Lakes and the industrial Midwest. So, the next time you're flying near Selfridge and you hear them on the radio, remember this: that base carries the name of a 26-year-old Army lieutenant who believed so strongly in the future of military aviation that he climbed into an experimental airplane with Orville Wright and paid the ultimate price for it. Selfridge is not just another military installation. It's a living memorial to one of the earliest and most important chapters in American aviation history. Thanks for watching.